My name is Jeff Clark, and I'm the commander of the North Andover VFW. This year, the town of North Andover and our VFW have partnered with Wreaths Across America, an organization to honor the veterans of our beloved community. Wreaths Across America is an organization dedicated to remembering and honoring the veterans of the United States while educating our communities about the sacrifices made by our men and women in uniform. This year, we are placing over 1,500 wreaths at Ridgewood Cemetery on December 14th at 12 p.m. Each wreath costs $17, of which $5 comes back to the VFW. As a nonprofit organization, all proceeds will be utilized to support the veterans of our community and their needs. Please help us spread the word about this amazing organization and opportunity for this community. We hope you can make it to Ridgewood Cemetery on Saturday, December 14th at 12 p.m. for our opening ceremonies and immediately following the laying of the wreaths. This is a wonderful opportunity for our community to come together during the holiday season and ensuring that veterans are not forgotten.
Corporal Horatio Rogers, World War I. The United States entered World War I in 1917. Nearly 5 million Americans answered the call to serve. And when they came home, they became part of the great solidarity among all veterans who have seen the face of war, never forgetting those who did not come home. In Ridgewood Cemetery, you will find the gravestone of my cousin, Caroline Stevens, who volunteered in the war to end all wars. Caroline served in Toul, France, in a hospital very close to the front. Toul was an ancient city with a great medieval cathedral. By 1918, Toul had become a medical hub for the U.S. Army, with evacuation hospitals and base hospitals with neurological, gas, and contagious disease units. It was also the home of 45 units of the Army Air Service and an area from which 2 large offensives were launched during the last 8 weeks of the war. Caroline was immersed in frontline casualties, both civilian and military. At the same time, Horatio Rogers, the man who would become Caroline's husband, was fighting as an artillery scout. Young Horatio Rogers managed to keep a small red-lettered vest pocket diary, a gift from his father, full of cryptic scribbles about his daily life at the front. These scribbled notes became the source of the book called The Diary of an Artillery Scout, that was published nearly 60 years after he came home from the war. On the flyleaf of the diary is written Horatio Rogers, Corporal, Battery A, 101st Regiment, Field Artillery 26th Division, 51st Brigade, American Expeditionary Force. The 26th was the famous Yankee Division. He also wrote, at the back are 10 pages full of irregular words, spotted with rain, written on horseback, in shell holes, dugouts, and haylofts, on troop trains, camions, and ships. These are the landmarks for what follows. What follows is a faithful, nearly day-by-day account of one corporal's war. The guns, the trenches, the marches, the rain, the mud, the lice called cooties, and the rats. For each chapter heading in his book, Rogers reproduces his scribbled phrases. There we read, shell fire and gas, our first man killed, a gun crew wiped out, I Get Gassed, A Battle Against Mud, Route Marking at Night, War in the Open, More Losses, Crossing into the Enemy's Country Scenes around Croix Rouge Farm, Some Drivers Killed, Exhaustion, Hiding in the Woods, Shrapnel Fire, Cold Weather, Fed Up with the War, The Breaking Point, Disaster, 7 Days of Torment, The Armistice. Finally, the Armistice. In an entry for November 1918, Horatio says, I walked over to battalion headquarters where I found that the attack was called off. On my way back, I yelled the good news as soon as I came in sight of the men in the gun pits. The cannoneers swarmed out and danced around, yelling with joy. On November 11th, Richie was at the switchboard when a call came through from battalion to suspend fire at 10:59 as an armistice was to go into effect at 11 a.m. At 11, all sounds of firing stopped. A few minutes later, we heard church bells ringing at Verdun. At last, along the front, not guns, but church bells. Some months later, Horatio Rogers came home on a troop ship with bands playing and all the whistles in Boston Harbor screeching. The Agamemnon nosed up to Commonwealth Pier and made fast. Through all the tumult of cheering and bands, I thought of the windrows of American dead in the wheat fields of Croix Rouge Farm, and I thought of their families. And then it was over. Horatio then wrote, 2 weeks later, we had a parade down Commonwealth Avenue in Boston, and 4 days after that, we were mustered out of the service. I turned away from the adjutant's office with my discharge paper in my hand, found my father standing in the road behind me. Horatio Rogers resumed his interrupted education, became a physician, and after he and Caroline Stevens married, he began his medical career. They returned to North Andover, where they started their family and lived out their lives in North Andover, the town they loved so well. In the preface to his book, Horatio Rogers said that of all the things he found in his attic so many years after the war, the little red leather vest pocket diary became for him the one thing people will dash into a burning house to save. And today we salute Horatio Rogers and Caroline Stevens. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Hi, my name is Bill Dolan. I'm the coordinator for VFW Post 2104 in North Andover for the Wreaths Across America program this year. To access North Andover's event, using this website will allow individuals or groups of volunteers to register to place wreaths. We'd ask that one individual for any groups of volunteers identify themselves so that we can work with that one person rather than the whole group. This access can also be used to purchase wreaths, which are $17 each, and to designate a family member or significant person who may want to place the wreaths themselves. We need to raise $26,350 to purchase all the wreaths for the 1,550 veterans who are buried at the Ridgewood Cemetery. We need to raise this money by December 3rd. Wreaths Across America is dedicated to remember, honor, and teach about veterans. In this segment, and the others in this series was created by North Andover Camp to help us reach out and do that. The theme for Wreaths Across America, encompassing nearly 4,500 communities across the country who are laying veterans wreaths on December 14th, is Live with Purpose. The opening ceremony honors all branches of our military with a ceremonial wreath posted for each branch by an active or retired member of that branch, and a wreath to remember the POWs and MIAs. Wreaths will have been placed throughout the cemetery for the 1,550 veterans. If successful, we intend to include all North Andover cemeteries in future years. Live with purpose, and please participate on December 14th.